Hello, it's been day one of the Olympic Games in London. It's been very exciting, thankfully, very quiet as well. I managed to travel through Stratford to get there, which seems insane and suicidal, but thankfully there weren't too many people there. It was quite busy, but on the whole, it was doable, and I got to work on time. It was a bit strange working on a Saturday. I haven't really worked weekends before, but we needed somebody in, obviously, as we're doing rota patterns. But it was just lots of fun seeing everybody having such a great time on the telly. The venues look fantastic. I think everything's just coming together as well. There is a bit of problem with the ticketing, but all these complaints, all the negativity. I think this is what we do well when we're British. We tend to really moan and complain, but then eventually, when it's time to put on a show like this, we just shut up and get on with it. And excuse me if I go off on a rant here. I think it's anyone who does a video log such as this, they're entitled to a rant every now and again. And I'm sorry if I bore you, but I have a bit of a problem with people who don't like the commercial side of the Olympic Games. Now, hope I'm not too much of a corporate sellout myself. I've paid to go and see the games. Of course, they're expensive, but the main thing I think is worth understanding here is that this is no sports day for a school in the back of a field. As nice as the day out that is, this is the Olympic Games. It's coming together of every single nation across the globe. There's going to be lots of people watching, a lot of things to organise, food and catering and hotels and equipment and judges and referees and officials and stewards and everything that you can imagine that needs to be laid on for all the staff and spectators and athletes. It is a big job to do. It has cost us a lot of money, and thankfully it has been subsidised in part by people who are willing to put forward their sponsorship. Now, you don't have to buy what these people are trying to sell. When you watch a commercial on TV, you're not suddenly suckered into thinking, well, I have to buy that for this once, unless the offer is in fact too good to be true. No, we're not like that. We're human beings. We don't sell ourselves out that easily. We know when we're trying to be sold something, and we're usually quite coy about it, but if the offer's good and the product's right, then we'll go ahead and buy it. It's how business works. I'm not much of a businessman myself, but I understand that living in London, and if you're going to host an Olympics in London, you're going to have to be expected to be sold things by big companies. That's how money works, that's how the way works, the way the world works, and it's how the economy stays stable. But again, you are under no obligation to buy these things. I think obviously the main one is McDonald's. You have to look at McDonald's to start off with. You do not have to buy a McDonald's when you are at an Olympic venue or indeed anywhere. I'm going to go to the tennis tomorrow. I'm very excited about that. I'm allowed to bring a bag along with me, a little small bag, and I'm allowed to bring food in that bag. So I can pack a lunch and take it with me as long as it's not too excessive. I can eat my sarnie to my heart's content. I don't have to buy a McDonald's. I can if I want to. That's the great thing about it. If you are inside a venue, inside, say, Olympic Park, you can plan your day around it. If you are so opposed to buying McDonald's because you don't have to, you can eat before you get there, you can eat after you've been there. I've been to Westfield Stratford, and again, it's a very big place, but the great thing is there are other restaurants out there that will sell this kind of food. Now, the other thing about it is the moral question here. Why is McDonald's, a fast food giant, sponsoring the Olympic Games? Well, let's put it frankly, they were the highest bidder. They are always going to be the highest bidder. And I really can't imagine any other large-scale food vendor worldwide which would, want to sponsor the games and have enough cash to rival that of McDonald's. Nothing springs to mind, unfortunately. It's the way the world works. It is a very large company that's been very profitable about selling food that is easy to make and is easy to sell and is popular. It's how fast food works, I guess. It would be lovely. It really would be fantastic to say these Olympic Games are sponsored by this lovely fresh fruit and veg, because that would be fantastic, wouldn't it? But again, there's no money in that. We would be paying a lot more money, all of London and all of the UK, for putting on these games. And anywhere in the world you are, you'd be putting on a lot more cash if these guys didn't stamp it up first. And finally, this is the bit that is going to probably grate with a lot of people, but McDonald's is a treat. Let's face it. All in moderation. I have McDonald's. I don't mind confessing. I plead guilty to buying and consuming and eating and enjoying a McDonald's every now and again, because it is a treat. But here's the thing: if you do it in moderation, if you have some fruit every day if you can, or some veg, or a nice hearty dinner if you can, it's not going to be the worst thing in the world. And exercise. Get in some exercise, because that's what the Olympic Games are all about, using your body to your full potential. If you do that right, if you have that combined correct diet, with a little treat every now and again, because we all do, let's face it, every one of us likes a little treat every now and again, and let's face it, McDonald's is saturated in fat and salt, but it is about 500 calories or 600 calories for a Big Mac. That is basically a very large sandwich from Tesco or any other supermarket chain you may wish to buy a large-scale meal from. It's not the worst thing in the world if you do it right. Again, you could go on and on about the other companies, Procter & Gamble sponsoring under the sun. It's been very irritating. Again, we put up with it because we're going to be sold it, and it saves us a bit of cash as well. And it makes these games look rather good. As we saw from the opening ceremony last night, that was again brought to us by corporate sponsors. And finally, Carlsberg. Again, you don't have to buy a beer. It's up to you. It's alcohol. It's moderation. So I hope I haven't gone on too long about this. I hope I've made my point as clearly as possible. I'm sorry if I've seemed like such a corporate sellout. I hope I'm not. I just genuinely hope that we've put all this behind us now, and that we just focus. It seems like it anyway. The main thing is that if you look at, say, the fantastic stadium up in Stratford, the Aquatic Centre, and the Velodrome, and all the other venues, I can't actually see that much in the way of actual sponsorship plastered all over them. It could be a lot worse. The games as they are looking very bright, very colourful, and very cheerful. So maybe the corporate sponsors are at the back of our minds now. I'm looking greatly forward to the tennis tomorrow. Andy Murray will be second up. Third up will be Maria Sharapova, and finally Jo Wilfried Tsonga will be last up on centre court. I'm going to go with some lovely friends of mine. I spent a little bit of time working for Salvation Army up in Elephant and Castle in southeast London. They're a great bunch of people. I look forward to sharing some videos with you tomorrow. See you on the other side.